This is ABC7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Tonight is a night for rejoicing because, as Dr. King said, as Dr. King liked to quote, the moral arc of the universe is long, but it bends toward justice.
For the first time in over 2 decades, Alabama elects a Democrat to the U.S. Senate. Doug Jones wins a close race against Republican Roy Moore. What does it mean not only in Washington, but for Florida and the Suncoast? Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohen, and welcome to ABC 7 at 7. What is going on? A Democrat winning a statewide race for the U.S. Senate in Alabama. It was a huge victory for Democrats. Doug Jones narrowly defeating controversial Republican Roy Moore. Jones edged Moore 50 to 48%. A Democrat now takes over the U.S. Senate seat in Alabama, one of the reddest states in the country. It is the first time in 25 years a Democrat has been elected to the Senate in Alabama. But what does it mean for us here in Florida?
I think there are implications for Trump in the fact that he got so involved with a tainted candidate. But I think the biggest layer might be the enthusiasm that the Democrats will be picking up from this. Again, it was a victory in the reddest of red states. It validates a lot of time and energy and enthusiasm that's been put in since Trump was elected. And so this will probably be a springboard for Democratic enthusiasm going forward.
We'll have much more on the Alabama Senate race and what it means for us here on the Suncoast when we head over to the trapezoid. After a 4-month-long investigation, the state is filing criminal charges against 3 men involved in that awful video of a shark being dragged from behind a boat. 21-year-old Michael Wenzel, 28-year-old Robert Banak, and 23-year-old Spencer Hines are all being charged with animal cruelty. Banak is the son of Manatee County Commission Chairwoman Betsy Banak. Wenzel is the son of Manatee County Planning Section Manager Robert Wenzel. The maximum punishment if they are found guilty, 5 years in prison and a $10,000 fine.
These guys aren't sportsmen, people. They're just a bunch of idiots going around and doing crazy stuff to animals.
Florida Fish and Wildlife says its investigation is complete. Manatee County detectives are searching for a second suspect in a home invasion. In June, 4 suspects armed with guns broke into an unlocked house in Greenbrook. One of the suspects, Robert Bayless, was arrested at the scene. Detectives are now looking for 20-year-old Joseph Capozzi. The incident appears to be drug-related, and anyone with information should contact the Manatee County Sheriff's Office or Crime Stoppers at 866-634-TIPS. The city of Venice is investigating how a city employee approved additional $1 million on a city project, apparently on his own. For 4 months now, an outside engineering firm has been removing large lime pits from Pine Brook Park. The lime is left over from an old water treatment facility. You might recall we did an entire show on the issue. The city is spending $2.5 million to remove the lime, but the project ran into complications and required an additional money. But rather than the city manager or city council approving the funds, a city employee did.
When they made that determination, that's when they should have come to me and said, here's our situation, in which case it wasn't a crisis then.
The city manager says the employee didn't know the correct policy on approving funds. He also wouldn't say if any disciplinary action will be taken against the employee. This is what parents fear when they send their kids out on a school bus. A semi-trailer collided with a school bus, sending at least 4 students to the hospital in Lake Placid. The bus was stopped to allow students to board with its lights flashing when it was hit by the semi. 39 students were on the bus when it was rear-ended. 2 students were flown to a Tampa hospital with serious injuries. After Hurricane Irma, more than 7,500 complaints were filed with Florida's price gouging hotline about inflated prices on water, gas, hotels, and more. A $25,000 settlement with a Miami hotel is being announced after an investigation showed room rates increased by up to 138% in the days following Irma. In addition to the settlement, 10 more businesses, mostly hotels and gas stations, are also under investigation for illegally inflating prices following the storm.
We're going to get them in line, sadly, before the next hurricane hits a year from now. And as I said, we're still settling cases from Matthew. I think we just, it's nonstop. There are more settlements expected in the coming weeks. I mean, up until now, Florida didn't have a strong policy when it comes to sexual harassment. Governor Rick Scott is announcing new measures to increase reporting, investigating, and training to protect state employees who may fall victim to workplace sexual harassment. In a statement today, the governor says, in Florida, we stand with the victims and against those who mistreat others. Today, I call on every level of government to follow our lead and adopt these standards. And a big FYI tonight, a boil water alert will be in effect for part of Manatee County. The water will be shut off from 10 p.m. tonight until 6 a.m. tomorrow morning for customers living from Canal Street to 106th Street West between Cortez Road and Bayview Drive. Customers should boil their water for 24 to 48 hours after the water has been turned back on. If residents have any questions, they can call 941-792-8811. Now let's head over to meteorologist Steve Newman with the First Alert forecast. Steve.
Hi, Alan. It's hard to keep everybody happy. Some people don't like the cold. Some people don't want it to get warm again. So don't shoot, I'm just the weatherman. It is going to get warmer, maybe the low 80s by the end of the week. There's our Casey Key camera. Beautiful sunset at 5:38 today out over the Gulf of Mexico. A little rough out there, but I don't think the conditions on the water are going to get much better because increased southerly winds will develop overnight. These are current temperatures. It's 59 at Fort Myers, Naples, 60, as cool as 62 in Miami. They don't like it that cold down there in Miami either. Our current temperature is about 15 degrees cooler than it was at this time last night, but things are turning around. It is going to get warmer. We have some high clouds streaming over us tonight. It should be good visibility for the Geminid meteor shower. Just look to the east after sunset. Well, it's already after sunset through the night, and you should be able to see it, especially since there's no rain. And here's the Futurecast shows. It stays mainly clear overnight, but like 3 or 4 or 5 in the morning, we will get a thickening of the clouds, and that will do nothing but thicken during the day tomorrow. And overnight temperatures are going to be fairly mild, too. Look for 50 degrees in Sarasota. That's up 10 degrees from where we were a couple, 3 nights ago, but it'll still be in the mid-40s as we go further inland with drier air. And here's the evening planner. As you head out, look for skies to be fair to partly cloudy, clear, not as cool, with temperatures cooling off into the low 50s tonight. So what do you like, Alan? Do you like it warm? Do you want it cool? What do you want?
Somewhere in between, but a little bit more rain because the lawns are getting brown.
This is one of the driest months of the year. Don't hold your hopes up for that.
All right, thanks a lot, Steve. And still to come, yes, a Democrat has beaten a Republican in Alabama. What that means for Florida and on the Suncoast coming up.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
This is an important medical announcement. Bard IVC filters have been linked to punctured veins and problems with migration. Anyone who's received a Bard IVC filter must receive medical monitoring and may be entitled to substantial compensation. If you have the Bard Recovery G2 or G2 Express filter, you are in a class of patients who should be compensated for some expenses. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. This call is confidential. There's no cost and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to people who should have been warned about the risks of the Bard IVC filters. Call the IVC Filter Hotline if you or a loved one has received an IVC filter and experienced a vein puncture or required medical monitoring. You must call now.
Call 800-329-3089. 800-329-3089.
Fact.
The top 3 Marriott hotels in North and South America are on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, according to a recent survey of 363 Marriott hotels. The Marriott at Grand National, the Marriott Shoals Hotel, and the Grand Hotel. And 2 of the top 3 Renaissance hotels are also on the trail, Ross Bridge in Birmingham and the Battle House in Mobile. Southern hospitality still rules. For reservations or information, visit rtjgolf.com/resorts.
Are you a food lover, restaurant goer, or home cook? Then check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, and helpful step-by-step videos. And you'll love the restaurant guide with direct links to your favorite Suncoast eateries. Whether you're cooking in or dining out, whet your appetite with tasty tips from Chef Judy at mysuncoast.com/dining. ABC7, your official Florida lottery station for the Suncoast.
It sure was a spectacle, but what, if anything, does the election of a Democrat to the United States Senate from, of all places, Alabama mean? ABC's Lana Zach has the story.
In Alabama, Democrat Doug Jones is celebrating his unlikely victory.
I'm going to be that voice for the people of Alabama to try to do what I believe is right for them. I want to see people work together.
Jones is the first Democrat in 25 years to be elected to the Senate from Alabama, besting Republican Roy Moore, who remained defiant last night, not yet conceding his loss.
And realize when the vote is this close that it's not over.
Moore's campaign was beset by multiple allegations of sexual misconduct, including sexual assault of 2 teenagers. Moore has denied the allegations, but the Jones campaign saw a tremendous boost by female voters, especially those with young children. But many political watchers saw in this campaign not only a flawed Republican candidate, but a greater referendum on President Trump and the Republican majority.
This means that Congress is officially in play. Democrats will have a shot to take over the United States Senate.
Democratic Minority Leader Chuck Schumer called on Republicans today to hold off on a vote on the tax bill until Jones is sworn in.
It would be wrong for Senate Republicans to jam through this tax bill without giving the newly elected senator from Alabama the opportunity to cast his vote.
But the president, who congratulated Jones on his victory, plans to push forward with tax reform as soon as possible.
As the leader of the party, I would have liked to have had the seat. I want to endorse the people that are running, but I will tell you that to me, it's very, very important to get this vote.
Moore still isn't talking about conceding today, but Republicans here in Alabama say they believe this race is over. And when Jones is seated in the Senate, Democrats will control 49 seats, Republicans 51. Given the razor-thin margins we've already seen in Congress, that may just tip the balance of power. Reporting from Montgomery, Lana Zach, ABC News.
So what do you think? Florida isn't Alabama for sure, but if a Democrat wins there, does it mean reliably Republican seats here could be oh so not secure? Trapezoid's next.
For the last decade, S&S Motorsports of Sarasota has built custom high-performance vehicles for demanding clients worldwide. They're now bringing their 50-plus years of combined build expertise to the parts business. SRQ Performance Parts is your one-stop shop for all your performance parts and accessories.
Do you have type 2 diabetes, which requires daily blood monitoring? If you have diabetes, are you on Medicare, Obamacare, or other health insurance? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for diabetic testing supplies at little to no out-of-pocket cost to you. Our accredited staff will handle all of your paperwork for free. And best of all, your diabetic testing supplies are shipped directly to your home for free. Call now to see if you qualify for a meter upgrade and a free pedometer to monitor your daily walking. Use alternate testing sites, a smaller blood sample, and even hear your results out loud. Will you qualify for diabetic testing supplies and an upgraded meter covered by Medicare, Obamacare, or health insurance at little to no out-of-pocket cost to you?
Find out for free by calling the Diabetes Resource Center at 1-800-394-1098. That's 1-800-394-1098, 1-800-394-1098.
Attention blood thinner users. If your loved one took Xarelto or Pradaxa and suffered serious internal bleeding, call right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation. The widely prescribed blood thinners Xarelto and Pradaxa have been linked to a number of dangerous side effects, including internal bleeding, gastrointestinal bleeding, kidney bleeding, stroke, brain hemorrhaging, and even death. If you or a loved one suffered any of these injuries after taking Xarelto or Pradaxa, call right now. You may be owed significant compensation from the manufacturer. Thousands of blood thinner users may have been exposed to serious risk by these dangerous medications. If you or a loved one took Xarelto or Pradaxa and suffered serious internal bleeding, call right now. Call Nightline Legal to speak with an experienced attorney for a free consultation. If we don't win, there is no fee. There are time deadlines to file a claim, so don't wait. Call right now.
Call 1-800-554-3987. Again, that's 1-800-554-3987.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com for Chef Judy's favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining.
Welcome back. It sure was a spectacle, but what, if anything, does the election of a Democrat to the United States Senate from, of all places, Alabama mean for politics on the Suncoast and the rest of Florida? Cutting to the chase, does it mean the conventional wisdom that Democrats have no shot at winning a congressional seat on the Suncoast and other ruby red areas of Florida, or is this a one-off? Was Roy Moore simply an alleged child molester, and combined with his extreme views on politics, race, religion, sexual orientation, culture, too much for Alabama voters to digest this time around? Joining us for more is Kathy Antunes of WSRQ Radio and the founder of the RevolutionaryAct.com, Rod Thompson, who also happens to be the president of the Sarasota Republican Club. But Rod, why don't you tell us, what is the RevolutionaryAct.com?
The RevolutionaryAct.com is a website that I founded about a year ago. Now has multiple writers for it, including writers from the Gulf Coast. And the name comes from the book by George Orwell, 1984, in which he says, in a time of universal lies, telling the truth is the Revolutionary Act.
You know what? Maybe I could be one of your columnists.
Sure. Submit me something and I'll see.
Well, that's really definitive. All right. So, you know, all over the country and in Florida and on the Suncoast, people are trying to read the tea leaves. What does this mean? And the question is this a one-off that even for Alabama, especially with the child molestation allegations, Alabama voters, especially Alabama women, were not going to vote for Roy Moore? Or does this show something more? Rod?
It's a one-off. In this case, a couple more reasons because beyond that, because Roy Moore was probably the weakest in the Republican field to face a Democrat in a general election. He had negatives in Alabama. He won the Republican primary, but he had real negatives in Alabama already because of his previous fairly extreme stances that a lot of moderate Republicans weren't on board with, like not having a Muslim in Congress, that sort of thing that people are just really not comfortable with. So he was already weakened. Then when you have these, you know, somewhat credible sexual misconduct accusations against him, even though they're 40 years old, particularly, I'm going to say particularly among conservative Republican women voters, that's a really big hurdle. You combine all that together, and they didn't come out all at once. They come out one after another after another. It kept adding up. And the last thing, his responses were awful. When he appeared on Sean Hannity, he totally fumbled his explanations of it. So I think it's really a one-off, a kind of perfect storm there.
Kathy, some in the Democratic Party might say that, look, not just this election, but you also look at the governor's race in Virginia and New Jersey, and Democrats are energized in a way that the party has not seen in a good long time.
Yeah, I would agree with Rod in that you can't assume this is a sea change, but there's a significant opening here. And, you know, essentially, I wouldn't say those allegations were somewhat credible, actually. I think there's real concern among women. We're having more than a moment. We're having a real reckoning in terms of how we want to be led as a nation. But also, you know, what we have been promised versus what's been delivered with this administration in Washington there's been a real problem.
And we only have a few seconds left, but to that end, a new poll comes out today, the Monmouth poll, that shows that the president's job approval rate is down to 32%. you would imagine it may be higher around here, but there must be some kind of erosion if nationally it's down to 32%.
Well, one would assume, I mean, we see polls kind of all over the place. Monmouth is one of them. Rasmussen is one nobody on the left likes.
Yes, because it's not accurate.
Okay, well, okay, that's one possible take on it. But the problem with reading any of those polls is that he was unpopular before he won election, too. And that was a unique election with a very weak Democrat candidate. But I think that what you see with Trump is a very difficult president to poll when it comes to trying to extrapolate what that could mean during an election.
All right, we have to take a quick break. We are just getting warmed up. We'll have much more on the Alabama Senate race right after we check the First Alert weather. Stay with us.
For 30 years, it's been an honor for the Michaels on Ice team to serve you.
We love that our restaurant, wine cellar, and ballroom have become your favorite gathering places, and we love catering your parties.
From everyday celebrations to life's greatest occasions, please join us soon for new culinary adventures. A toast to 30 years.
And to many more.
This is an important announcement. If you're between 50 and 85 and worried about your loved ones, you can still get affordable life insurance for peace of mind.
My life insurance coverage is guaranteed, and I was not required to get a medical exam.
I had high blood pressure and diabetes, and I got my coverage with one telephone call. No exam necessary.
I'm a smoker, and I wanted to take care of my family. I called to get my life insurance and my affairs in order. I wanted to do the right thing.
Call Final Expense No Exam Insurance. Your rates are guaranteed and will never increase.
I called and learned that this insurance cannot be canceled even if you get sick or gain weight.
And there are no restrictions on how my beneficiaries use the money when I'm gone.
Approval was easy and the price was right. I wanted to do this for my children.
Call 800-738-9812. 800-738-9812.
Credit card debt can ruin your life. If you owe $10,000 and minimum payments are siphoning away your paycheck each month, you can get debt-free in less time than you think.
I've paid $800 a month for the past 3 years and haven't changed the balance on my credit card.
Get debt-free now has a program to reduce your debt, stop the harassing phone calls, avoid financial ruin, and settle for less than you owe.
I feel like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders.
You're pre-approved for our special hardship program if you owe $10,000 or more. Upon payment of your new lower balance, your debt will finally shrink until you are debt-free.
My family no longer has 30 years of payments ahead of us at 20% interest.
There's no fees until you see results. So call now, make one monthly program payment, and free up your cash. Resolve your debt.
Call 800-628-1251. 800-628-1251.
Our conversation on the Alabama Senate race continues right after we get a check on the First Alert forecast with meteorologist Steve Newman. Steve.
Alan, a beautiful day today, although it was about 15 degrees cooler in some spots. And we look at our tower cam from ABC7 looking at sunset at 5:38 today. What a beautiful sunset it was. Going out over the Gulf of Mexico, and we're about a week from the solstice. I imagine the next couple of nights that sunset's going to get behind that building and then start drifting northward late in December. That's what happens. 52 is the current temperature, 47 degrees is the dew point. That's going to come up as we get moisture from the south overnight. Our high this afternoon, 63. Yeah, that's a little cooler than yesterday. 74 is where we should be this time of year. And last night's low, 45, is 5 degrees warmer than the frosty morning we had earlier in the week. Now taking a look at the satellite. It is a clear night for the most part. You're seeing some wispy cirrus clouds. And there's more of them out there rushing in our direction. So most of tonight will be clear, but look out here in the Gulf of Mexico. Rushing in our direction are some thicker, higher clouds. But I think we have several hours left of mainly clear skies to enjoy the Geminid meteor shower. Visible now, probably better viewing at about 9 or 10 o'clock tonight. Just look to the east. You could potentially see 60 meteors per hour, and this is the meteor shower that can produce really brilliant fireballs. It can be a really exciting meteor shower, and they radiate from the constellation Gemini. Well, how do you find that? A lot of people can see those 3 stars in the row. That's the belt of Orion. Well, locate that and then look to the left past the red star Betelgeuse Castor and Pollux in the constellation Gemini, and that's where the meteors will radiate from all night long. It'll get higher in the sky as we move through the hours. Well, let's take a look now at our up north, where they're not going to be able to see the meteor shower in the Great Lakes. This is the third Alberta clipper in the last few days to just bring snow after snow to Michigan, Ohio, and into New York State. And then even when it ends, the lake effect snow kicks in. So here is the buckle in the jet stream producing that pattern of one after the other coming in out of Canada, while high pressure is controlled to the south, and it's keeping our weather fairly mild, and it will get even milder as we move through the weekend. Current temperature is 45 in Atlanta. It is in the teens, 16 in Toronto, Montreal, a bitterly cold 8. I don't see a lot of relief from them, but warmer temperatures will spread over the southern United States. What about us on the Suncoast? Here's our local weather information. Not as cool tonight. In fact, it's not going to be as cool for the next several days. More clouds coming in later tonight, but generally clear through the evening. And we'll have high temperatures in the low 80s by Sunday and Monday. Taking a look at the computer forecast showing that. Here's the high pressure that's going to move to the south of us, shifting our winds to the south overnight and tomorrow. These showers are going to be aloft and not reach the ground, and that front will come by on Friday. It'll be dry, giving us somewhat cooler temperatures, but will recover very quickly. As you can see in the long-range futurecast, takes us from Saturday into Sunday and Monday. Another high pressure passes by, another front on Monday with some rain, but I don't think that rain will quite make it to the Suncoast. Only a 30% chance. So here's my forecast for tonight. It will be clear for the most part, but increasing clouds overnight and not as cool. Low temperature, where did it go? It should read about 51 degrees. That's interesting. And for tomorrow, a partly sunny to mostly cloudy day. The clouds are going to gather with a high temperature of 72 with southwest winds 5 to 10. Here's your 7-day outlook showing that brief cooling for Thursday and Friday with the front going by, and then warming up to 75 on Saturday, 81 Sunday, 82 on Monday, with that front bringing a 30% chance of rain. Dry weather continues into next week. All in all, I think we've broken this pattern of the temperature roller coaster for a while. I think you'll enjoy the holiday season. Hope you'll enjoy Alan and his guest coming back in just a few minutes. Stay tuned.
I heard about the Dotoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Dotoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was. I can tell you that you will not find a finer, more professional team of clinicians anywhere in the world.
If you're only hungry for a slice of apple pie, why buy the whole pie? And you certainly wouldn't want to pay for an all-you-can-eat buffet. So if you don't use your cell phone that much, why get charged for a plan that's too big, or even an unlimited plan? Luckily, there's still a wireless company that shares your values. Welcome to Consumer Cellular. Our average customer pays about $25 a month for everything they need. Many pay even less, as plans start at just $15 a month. You'll get a straightforward bill that's easy to understand with no surprises and all the attention you deserve from our friendly customer service team. No wonder Consumer Cellular has received the J.D. Power Award for highest customer service 3 times in a row. Plus, if you're an AARP member, you'll receive special discounts. It's easy to switch. You can even keep your phone and your number. So stop paying for more than you need and start your 30-day risk-free trial today. Call 800-457-2317. Go online or visit a Target store today.
You love your couch and want to protect it from spills, food, and scratching, shedding pets. Introducing Couch Coat, the reversible, washable quilted cover that protects your couch. Shield against spills, wow, stop stains, and dirty pet paws and sharp claws. Plus, it's reversible with 2 stylish colors. Guaranteed to fit any couch up to 92 inches or your money back. It even has covers to protect armrests. Machine washable too.
My grandkids destroy everything, but with Couch Coat, my couch is always protected, looking as good as it did the day I bought it.
Get your Couch Coat for just $19.99, and it's reversible in brown and cream, like 2 couch coats for the price of 1. Order right now, and you can double your offer. Get a second Couch Coat. Just pay a separate fee. Order right now.
Call 1-800-943-0710 to get your couch coat. Call now or go to couchcoat.com. So call 1-800-943-0710. That's 1-800-943-0710. Call now.
Welcome back. We're talking about the Alabama Senate race and whether there are lessons to be learned here on the Suncoast. And joining us for more is Kathy Antunes of WSRQ Radio and the founder of the RevolutionaryAct.com, Rod Thompson. You know, in both Alabama and on the Suncoast, Republicans enjoy a considerable voter registration advantage. So from that perspective, Kathy, do you know, why wouldn't Democrats think that if we are energized and you might be up against a depressed Republican electorate a year from now, maybe they can win?
Yeah, I think there's opportunity there, but Democrats are going to have to get their game face on and do a much better job of messaging than they have been. You know, this tax plan, for instance, that's coming down the pike, in the past 35 years, it's been Republican administrations that have blown huge holes in the deficit. And as someone who first cast a presidential ballot for Ronald Reagan,
Rod is covering his face there.
Well, but this is a real concern.
But when it comes to messaging, Charles Barkley, the former NBA star, he helped out Doug Jones in Alabama, and he had this message to Democrats last night. Let's take a look.
This is a wake-up call for Democrats. Your Democrats, and I told Mr. Jones this, and I love Doug, they've taken the black vote and the poor vote for granted for a long time. It's time for them to get off their ass and start making life better for black folks and people who are poor. They've always had our votes, and they have abused our votes, and this is a wake-up call. We got it in a great position now, but this is a wake-up call for Democrats to do better for black people and poor white people.
Frankly, I've heard the same thing on the Suncoast. Rodney Jones, the president of the NAACP in Manatee County, said to me that a lot of people thought their lives would become better when Obama became president. It didn't. A lot of young African Americans are ambivalent about politics in general. So where is the message of Democrats on the Suncoast and throughout Florida?
I think a fraud has been perpetuated, frankly, by the Republican Party for the past 35 years because if trickle-down economics worked, it would have worked by now. We haven't seen it work. I think it's a big fraud, and the Democratic Party needs to get much better at communicating a simple economic message and actually delivering benefits to people who deserve it most.
So where are your smart people? Where are your smart people in the back offices of the Florida Democratic Party coming up with that coherent message?
I honestly can't speak to that. You know, I'm not in those rooms, but I just think, you know, there's a talk out there about how the Republican strategists are marketing majors and that the Democratic strategists are policy wonks. It's no good to be a policy wonk if you can't communicate it to the public and leverage your expertise into votes. You know, and what we've seen is that the Republican Party is really great at messaging, but terrible at delivering.
Rod, let me ask you along those lines. A lot of Republicans look at the tax plan that's in Washington as America gets a tax break. Obviously, the stock market is doing terrific. But there are a whole lot of people who are watching us right now who are not fully participating in the stock market. They don't have 401ks. And a tax cut in the GOP plan, some $1,100 for a family of four, you know, a lot of people might think that is chump change. So where is the Republican message when you face that kind of Democratic opposition?
So the stock market is only one measure of how the economy is doing, and not a particularly important one in my mind. Of course, you have GDP that's it's well above expectations. You have unemployment rate, which is lowest it's been since 2000. You have a lot of good stuff that's going on that should be affecting everybody to some degree. And so the fact is, in the tax plan, the challenge there is, if you believe, like conservatives like I do, that if you put more taxes out of government and into private hands, the market mechanisms will goose the economy and more people will be employed, more people will be paying taxes. Eventually that tax cut gets more than paid for. And that helps everybody. However, that philosophy can only be accomplished if the tax cuts are actually enough to goose the economy, and that can only be done at the top end because that's where all the taxes are being paid.
Kathy.
And that's facts.
You know, the reality is the goodies are being portioned to the top, less than, it's 0.1%, and corporations. What Trump promised was that corporations and the wealthy would pay their fair share, but what we're seeing now is that the alternative minimum tax on corporations is being repealed, that the loopholes aren't being closed, and it's possible that something like GE in 2010 with $14 billion in profits paying absolutely no federal tax, he's setting the table for that. That's not going to help us. This plan is assuming a 3% growth in GDP, and that's also not reasonable.
So there we've covered messaging and the tax plan.
I wanted to come back to one thing she said earlier, if I could.
Yeah.
She said about Republican presidents have blown a hole in the deficit. That's an astonishing statement considering that our deficit under Obama in 8 years went from 10 trillion to 20 trillion, and Obama is a Democrat.
Why is that?
Why is what?
Why did the deficit explode?
Because he continued to push for spending far more than we brought in. You simply
what did he inherit?
He inherited the first year or two. He inherited something that was already being fixed when he came into office due to something he voted for as a senator too. That was fixing the financial situation and the whole surrounding the real estate
10 seconds
collapse.
to respond to that, and then I want to move on to something else.
Yeah, you know, the Republicans, Jack Kemp in 35 years ago said, the Republican Party is no longer the party that bows at the shrine of a balanced budget. That was 20 years later, he tried to walk it back and warn George W. Bush about the ballooning deficit. And it was Dick Cheney who famously said to Paul O'Neill, the Treasury Secretary, Reagan proved that deficits don't matter anymore.
Okay. Rod, what lesson, if anything, is somebody who helps run the Republican Party in Sarasota, you're an influential force. What would you tell your fellow Republicans around here in terms of a lesson out of Alabama that you're personally concerned about?
All right, a couple of things, and that's a great question. One is we have to have candidates of high personal integrity and character. We started running away from that as a country during the Clinton years when we decided that politics was more important than personal character, and we tried to separate a person's individual morality from their public policy. I don't think you can do that. It's the same person. So we have to be recruiting and running people who are, not perfect people, but are people that are high integrity and high moral people, have good character and a track record of good character. The second thing is, I think Republicans, we don't have a large minority community here, but I think Republicans need to actively be going out and talking to the Black and Hispanic communities and explaining to them why conservative principles are better for them and their families than the longtime liberal principles, because I think that's a winner if they can go out and do it personally, which they don't do enough of.
To your point, Carlos Curbelo, who is a Republican congressman from Miami, tweeted today, the people of Alabama put country first tonight by rejecting the disgusting Roy Moore. Congratulations to the Bannon wing of the GOP for gifting a seat to Senate Democrats in one of the reddest states. You have no future in our country's politics. But Kathy, what lesson do you talked about your concern about Democratic messaging. Give Democrats some reason to believe that this may be beginnings of something good for the midterms.
Well, there's certainly an opening here and an opportunity because there's great concern about this tax plan and Trump. But again, you've got to bring it home on a level that people can understand. It'd be great if rational Republicans were following conservative principles. The reality is they don't, and they're actually enacting policies that benefit only a very few and corporations. Democrats need to leverage that reality. They need to talk about it more and make people understand, the working man who basically went with Donald Trump, that they're going to actually follow through and improve life for those folks.
We have less than 90 seconds, but Rod, one more question to you. What impact does the tighter margin in the Senate have on any ability of the Republicans to get anything through? Put aside the tax plan right now because Jones may not be seated by the time it's voted on. But there was one story today that Doug Jones' odds-defying victory is handing Democrats a vanishingly rare Senate win in the Deep South, and it scrambles President Trump's legislative agenda for the coming year.
I'd say theoretically it's 50% harder because, as we've talked about before, that slight vote margin that Republicans have in the Senate is so easily outdone by a liberal Maine Republican and an anti-Trump Republicans that it is so very difficult. I'm still going to be sort of surprised that they can get this tax plan through because of that. When you make that instead of a 2-vote margin, a 1-vote margin, oh, that's ridiculously thin for either party to deal with.
We have to take a quick break, and we'll have final thoughts when we return.
The perfect musical for the holidays is live on the Players Center stage. Packed with the big band sounds from World War II, the 1940s Radio Hour is our boogie woogie bugle boy answer to the holiday blues. Call the Players Center at 365-2494 or visit us at theplayers.org. The Players Wild Broadway series wishes you a Merry Christmas with the 1940s Radio Hour.
Attention, Americans eligible for Medicare. Are you getting all the benefits you're entitled to? Did you know there may be money available to lower your medical prescription costs? Call Health Markets and we'll tell you if you qualify.
Hi, I'm Dr. Martin Jeetsi. It's a new Medicare year. That means more changes and more confusion. The key question is, what can you do now to ensure you get the care you need in the coming year?
Call Health Markets today. You may qualify to save money on prescriptions. We'll help you find plans that may cost less, cover more, and could even lower your prescription costs to increase your savings. We help you find all the benefits you're entitled to, and we do it at no cost.
Make sure you have what you need to get the care that's right for you.
Find out if you qualify to receive extra help with your prescriptions. Call the number on the screen now. Representatives are standing by.
There's nothing like this trail in Alabama. It just goes from the northern part of the state to the southern part of the state. We see all kind of different terrains, great value, great fun. We've been coming for 18 years. We started off with a group of 8, grew to 12, and grew to 16. And we love it because where else can you get world-class golf courses with world-class accommodations? To be able to play these type of courses in this environment, and the difficulty keeps us coming back over and over and over again.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining.
And our guest joining us right now for final thoughts. Kathy, I'll start with you. What do you take out of the Alabama Senate race? Is it just like, a bad guy got his due, or do you look for things to change here on the Suncoast or throughout Florida? Yeah, well, certainly a bad guy got his due, but I think there may be something more there because we saw President Trump try to move votes and he was unsuccessful. More did come back after the president started getting more involved. Yeah, I think it's going to be important for Democrats and rational Republicans, independents. I was an independent for 34 years. We've got to be talking about reality and what's going on with the budget and people's lives in this country. The Democratic Party has to talk to working people, and Republicans who care about the future of this country have to get real about this tax plan, the deficit, what it's going to do to people's lives. We're having a moral reckoning in this country, certainly over sexual harassment, but also, is this the kind of man we want in the White House? The criminal investigations that are going on. And I think we need to leave the partisan stuff behind and start really looking at candidates as people and what are they really going to accomplish. This is a pivotal time in our country. I have cast ballots for both sides. I voted for Ronald Reagan. John Adams said facts are stubborn things. We have to start looking at reality, looking at each other as fellow citizens and having better conversations and decisions. Rod, you ever vote for a Democrat?
I did.
Who?
Jimmy Carter. I was in college at Michigan.
Do we have the breaking news? Wow. Jimmy Carter.
I was in college, and I sucked in all of the drivel at Michigan State University about how you couldn't trust a cowboy.
Bastion of liberalism.
It was a university. Everybody I knew there was liberal, and I didn't know any better because I was apolitical at the time. So I did. Very ashamed of that vote. But I corrected it 4 years later. To me, on the tax package, we had to lower the corporate tax rate. We had the highest one among all of our competitors in Westwood. We had to. No, you had your say. That we had to do that, number one. Number two, we talk about unfairness, that the rich aren't paying their fair share. They pay way more than their fair share. They're paying most of the taxes. They're carrying most of the load. The bottom 50% pay 1.5% of income taxes. So that's a no-go, too. I think we can learn a lot from Alabama. But one of the things we can learn from practically every election that I pay attention to, if conservative Republicans run on conservative principles and don't play games trying to slice and dice the electorate in certain ways, Hispanics, women, gays, and win it that way, if they just say conservative principles are better for everyone, that's a winning message.
We'll have to leave it there. Thank you to both of you. Okay. FYI, you can watch past discussions on demand. They're available on Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and Roku. And for the latest local breaking news, don't forget to download the new updated version of our app. If your current app doesn't work, it's because it's expired. Just go to the App Store and re-download it by searching for WWSB or My Suncoast. We want to thank both our guests for being here tonight. Kathy Antunes of WSRQ Radio and the founder of the RevolutionaryAct.com, Rod Thompson. When we return, we'll have a final look at your first alert weather, plus another high-ranking official answering questions about the involvement in the Trump campaign had with Russia. Stay with us.
Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card? If so, are you suffering from chronic back pain? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a pain-relieving back brace covered by Medicare at little to no cost, shipped directly to your home for free. These medical-grade back braces are ideal for lower back pain, arthritis, spinal disorders, and other chronic back problems. Will you qualify for a medical-grade back brace?
Call Back Brace America at 1-800-683-9262.
If you're between 50 and 85 years old, call the number on your screen right now for free information on how to save your family thousands of dollars. We're Family Love Plans, and we've been helping families just like yours for over 30 years. The average funeral today can cost up to $10,000 or more, but the most you'll get from government benefits is just $255. How will your family pay the difference? At Family Love Plans, we can help you and your family. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam and your plan can't be canceled. Better still, your rate will never go up and your benefits will never go down. Get your free information about our senior plans. Just answer a few simple questions and receive approval right over the phone.
Call 1-800-707-3608. That's 1-800-707-3608.
I'm Anne. I'm a scientist.
Recycling takes a team.
Why don't you let me and me help you out?
Everyone plays a part. Don't trash
I love taking stuff apart and building new things out of it.
what could be treasure.
Pal's my most advanced android. This is awesome. You haven't seen anything yet.
Give your cardboard box another life. Recycle.
Your primetime headlines are coming up in a moment, but right now let's get the final check on our first alert forecast from meteorologist Steve Newman. Steve.
Hi, Alan. We had a beautiful day today, although a little bit cooler than we had yesterday by about 10 to 15 degrees across the area. But look, we did have an award-winning sunset over Sarasota Bay at 5:38 today. That clock was just a little bit off, and tonight will be mainly clear with some high clouds slowly increasing overnight. And temperatures did drop off quite a bit across the whole state. 63 at Tampa, Key West only 70, Miami 67 this afternoon. Sarasota and Bradenton had the coldest temperatures in our viewing area, only 63. A little warmer as you move further inland to Sebring, and Lake Placid was 67. Currently at the airport, the temperature has dropped off to 52. I think we're only going to drop 1 or 2 degrees more, even though the dew point is 47. I think our south winds are going to lift that dew point, keeping our low right about 50 tonight. Right now, the winds are from the northwest. Alan was mentioning earlier in the newscast that he wants it to rain. Well, December is the driest, one of the driest months of the year. You can see we actually only get about an inch during December. We've already had that much. And for the year, we're above normal by almost 14 inches. But this being a La Nina year, and it's predicted to be dry, expect to see those numbers start to dwindle down, maybe even go to a deficit by the rainy season in June. Here's our GOES satellite image, shows those high clouds coming over. So there's more out here coming in for later on tonight and tomorrow, but it's going to be mainly dry overnight and pretty starlit night. And if you look to the east, you can see the Geminid meteor shower, which we'll talk more about tonight at 11. Radar sites. They've turned off the radar site in Tampa and Jacksonville to do maintenance because there's no rain to be seen anywhere. But there's a lot of snow to be seen across the Great Lakes. The third Alberta Clipper in just a few days has swirled out of the Canadian prairies, bringing the third wave of heavy snow across the Great Lakes. And you can see that's happening right now. And it's being a clipper means it's going to move quickly. And the futurecast shows that storm moving rapidly toward the eastern coast, and by rush hour tomorrow, New York City will be getting the snow, but it rushes off. But look what happens. In its wake, the snow belts, the lake effect snow kicks in. So even when the snowstorms end along the Great Lakes, it keeps snowing because of the lake effect. So they're just not catching a break up there, and I don't see that pattern changing greatly in the next couple, 3 days. There's a storm moving on by with that buckle in the jet stream that keeps cycling things around over the eastern part of Canada. Well, these are high temperatures today. It's single digits right now in Montreal, but they made it up to 19, the same at Toronto, Chicago, 38. Beautiful day in Dallas, 77, the same at Phoenix. And if we look at our weather headlines, this is what to expect for the next few days. Not as cool tonight, up a few degrees, and that means we'll have more clouds moving in through tomorrow, and expect temperatures to reach the low 80s during the afternoon on Sunday and Monday. Keep our fingers crossed on that. Tonight's lows, upper 40s in most parts along the coast and near 50 degrees. And here's our futurecast showing that we have some clouds moving in from the Gulf overnight with high pressure guiding that in. And here comes a weak front on Friday that should be dry. Any showers we get would be sprinkles. And if we go to the long-range futurecast, well, for tonight, our forecast is for it to be partly cloudy, not as cool, the low temperature 50. And for tomorrow, it'll be a partly sunny to mostly cloudy day from time to time. Cooler, high 72 with south winds 5 to 10. And here's your 7-day outlook. Look at this. We got a great weekend coming up. Saturday and Sunday, mid-70s to low 80s, reaching 82 on Monday with a slight chance of rain. And we don't see any no 40s there all the way across, and no 60s. I think we've broken the cool wave. Alan will be back with his primetime headlines in just a couple of minutes. Stay tuned.
Christmas Traditions by Lux Art Silks, where more is merrier. Make your holidays sparkle with style. Browse our amazing showroom, cute collectible cottages, and beautiful Christmas displays. Find the inspiration, selection, and quality you need to deck the halls merry and bright. Christmas Traditions also features the area's largest selection of quality pre-lit Christmas trees, every size, shape, and color, and plenty of decorations to make your home shine for the holidays. Christmas Traditions by Lux Art Silks, where more is merrier. Visit us on New 301, just a quarter-mile north of University Parkway.
Glasses and contacts. You need them to see, but they put such a strain on your life, you miss precious moments. Due to new advances in vision improvement technology, LASIK is now affordable for almost everyone, with procedures starting as low as $299 per eye and over 1 million procedures performed by our trusted independent surgeons. LASIK surgery is a sensible, safe, and affordable solution to improve your vision. Our simple 3-step process begins with a free evaluation, followed by an extensive preoperative exam to determine if you're a candidate for LASIK eye surgery. Depending on the results of your evaluation and eye exam, you and your surgeon will choose the LASIK option that works best for you. So call now to talk to a LASIK Vision Institute counselor and schedule your free evaluation. That's a $100 value, free. Call the LASIK Vision Institute for your free evaluation and enjoy more of your life.
Call 1-800-813-0109. 1-800-813-0109.
This is an important medical announcement. Bard IVC filters have been linked to punctured veins and problems with migration. Anyone who's received a Bard IVC filter must receive medical monitoring and may be entitled to substantial compensation. If you have the Bard Recovery G2 or G2 Express filter, you are in a class of patients who should be compensated for some expenses. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. This call is confidential. There's no cost and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to people who should have been warned about the risks of the Bard IVC filters. Call the IVC Filter Hotline if you or a loved one has received an IVC filter and experienced a vein puncture or required medical monitoring. You must call now.
Call 800-329-3089. 800-329-3089.
Checking primetime headlines in Washington. The second highest ranking Justice Department official took to the Capitol today, to center stage and Capitol, facing tough questions about an FBI agent's anti-Trump text messages and alleged bias in the Russia investigation. The hearing coming on the heels of President Trump's lawyers calling for a second special counsel to investigate FBI agents who have worked on Robert Mueller's Russia probe. ABC's Elizabeth Herr is in New York with details.
Testimony that you
you are about to give shall be the truth.
In the hot seat and on the defense.
And the special counsel's investigation is not a witch hunt.
Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein standing firm, special counsel Robert Mueller should not be removed from the Russia investigation.
It would be very difficult, Congressman, for anybody to find somebody better qualified for this job.
Rosenstein grilled on Capitol Hill by Republicans following the release of politically charged text messages between two former members of Mueller's team. ABC News reviewing 375 text messages between FBI agent Peter Strzok and FBI attorney Lisa Page, in which Strzok called then-candidate Trump an idiot, and Page responded, "He's awful." Then when Trump was near clinching the nomination in May of 2016, Page texted, "Holy expletive, Cruz just dropped out of the race. It's going to be a Clinton-Trump race. Unbelievable." A month later, Strzok referred to, quote, "the absolute bigoted nonsense of Trump."
This is not just political opinions. This is disgusting, unaccountable bias.
Peter Strzok did not say anything about Donald Trump that the majority of Americans weren't also thinking at the same time.
Democrats claim there is no evidence Strzok and Page's political views affected the special counsel investigation. And according to Mueller's spokesman, Strzok was removed from Mueller's team immediately upon learning of the text messages, and Page was only on the team for a brief period.
When we have evidence of any inappropriate conduct, we're going to take action on it. And that's what Mr. Mueller did here. As soon as he learned about this issue, he took action.
Rosenstein went on to say he has seen no good cause to fire Mueller. In the meantime, Attorney General Jeff Sessions has assigned a senior attorney to review the bias allegations. Elizabeth Herr, ABC News, New York.
Former Apprentice star Omarosa is leaving the White House, but unlike in the reality show, she was not fired by Donald Trump. The White House says Manigault resigned yesterday. Manigault was serving since January as the top communications official in the White House Office of Public Liaison. The White House says will stay in her position until January 20th. Other staff are expected to leave after Trump's first year. Earlier this month, the White House aides announced that Deputy National Security Advisor Dina Powell is also planning to leave. Bon Jovi and the Cars are among the newest inductees in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The list Wednesday also includes Dire Straits, the Moody Blues, and Nina Simone. The late gospel pioneer sister Rosetta Tharpe will also be honored with the award for early influence. To be eligible, bands or artists must have released their first commercial recording at least 25 years prior to being inducted. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame ceremony will be in April 14th in Cleveland. And it looks like some familiar faces will be getting the U.S. Post Office's stamp of approval. John Lennon will be getting a stamp this year, so will award-winning activist Lena Horne. Children's television pioneer Fred Rogers, a.k.a. Mr. Rogers, will also be honored by the Postal Service with a stamp, as will the first American woman in space, Sally Ride. And that's all the time we have for this evening. I'm Alan Cohn. Thanks for joining us. Have a good night.